BRICS announced that next month, they'll be launching a new currency that's backed by gold that will rival the US dollar. For those of you who don't know what BRICS is an acronym for Brazil, Russia, Iran, China, and South Africa. 5 nations that form this non-alliance, nations that don't align with the Western powers, Western superpowers. For the past centuries, the Western world has ruled the world, or rather dominated the world economically. And BRICS are formed to counter that, okay? These nations, if you know anything about them, they hold meetings pretty regularly. The last one was in South Africa, where Putin had to go to South Africa, and there was a lot of controversy around that. But anyway, I know you might be asking yourself, what has that have to do with Ruto or Kenya? Now, if you remember, Ruto has been flirting with this idea of moving away from the dollar, as you can see from this clip.
For the people who work numbers, I am giving you free advice that those of you who are holding dollars, you surely might go into losses. You better do what you must do, because this market is going to be different in a couple of weeks. And
now, I explained in my previous video why Kenya is still being ruled or being told what to do by the UK and the US government, the Western basically. That's why you see when Ruto came to power, one of the very first countries that he visited was France, US, UK, so forth, these Western powers, because they want to make sure that their interest in Kenya will be safe, okay? So, and we've also had Ruto made some speeches like the one I just played, among others, talking about Africa needing favorable loans from the IMF. And even when he went to AU, he made also another controversial speech where he was talking about Africa not being treated fairly by the West, okay? These might not have gone down well with the Western government. So, what has that have to do with what happened today? Because apparently, the Iranian president was supposed to visit Kenya, but the visit was cancelled, okay? Now, what could they be possibly talking about? What does Iran and Kenya could be talking about? Now, Iran is very rich in gas, and Kenya, as you know, we need gas. So they might have been, maybe Ruto wanted to talk to Iranians about gas, how they can do business together, because most of these talks are usually centered around trade, okay? How we can buy their goods and they can buy our goods, bilateral trades, okay? Or bilateral investment treaties, okay? But in this case, I highly suspect Iran, as you know, the BRICS nation, there's a lot of countries that are joining this BRICS nation, okay? They're dumping the dollar, including Saudi Arabia, who have applied for it, Egypt, name it. There's so many, Turkey, they want to join BRICS because the US dollar is not backed by anything. It's just paper money, okay? It's the world currency because people agree that they will sell fuel in US dollars. It used to be, before the Nixon administration, it used to be in the 1970s, before 1970s, it used to be that the dollar was backed by gold, but they stopped that because there was no reserve. There was no gold reserve. There's not enough reserve that can be matched up to the dollar. So the dollar actually is backed by nothing. That's why the BRICS people, the BRICS nations are saying, you know what? Let's go back to the gold standard where you can actually, the value of your money is measured by the value of gold, okay? So we match up to it. So you can actually go to the bank and say, hey, I would like, maybe $1 is equal to 2 pounds of gold, for example. I'm just using an example. So you get the idea. But anyway, so BRICS nation, as I mentioned, they announced that they're going to come up with this currency. They're going to launch this currency next month in August, okay? So with Kenya, if you consider Kenya, Ruto, who has been flirting with this idea of dumping the dollar, and Iran, who are actually trying to get more countries to join the BRICS, that meeting will have been problematic to the West. So my suspicion is Ruto probably got a call from Washington and told him, hey, look here, this is what's going to happen if you meet Iran, okay? Or if you dare do business with Iran. Let me give you another example. The conflict that's happening in Sudan right now, do you know what started it? That conflict started when the Russian government met with the Iranian, with the Sudanese president, okay? The conflict that's happening in Sudan, okay? The Russians met with the Sudanese president and told them, hey, listen, we can help you develop your military and we can do trade. You just give us gold and we can help you with your military. We can do business together. We can sell, we can buy your oil and stuff like that. So when the US caught wind of this, they went and made a deal with one of the top generals in Sudan, and there was a coup d'etat attempt, which actually turned out to now a war, civil war, all right? So now you see the conflict is going on there. So basically, the US did not allow Sudan to have this trade agreement with Russia or this military agreement with Russia, okay? Same thing. So you might ask yourself, what could be going on? I mean, how can how can US take out Ruto in case Ruto says he wants to go with the BRICS? That's where Raila and Martha Karua and all these minions are all about, okay? If Ruto says or decides that he wants to side with the BRICS, what will happen is the US government can fund the opposition, Raila Odinga's, and use the NGOs, human rights activists, okay? Why do I say that? I've read this book, like I told you, the book I was reading by John Perkins, who was the ex-CIA guy who worked for IMF and World Bank. He describes in detail how, you know, they've always conducted coup d'etats, whether it's through military coup, civilian coup, whether it was with Mossadegh in Iran, okay, in Guatemala, Chile, when they brought Pinochet to power. I mean, it goes on and on and on. They've been doing this for a long while. If you don't play to their tune, they take you out through a civilian coup or a military coup, okay? They do that. They fund people who are your opposition. That's why you have to ask yourself, why did it take Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta to start complaining about electoral justice 5 months after the elections? Remember, Raila said that he will agree if he loses the elections. But after 5 months, especially after Ruto started talking this talk about, you know, leaving IMF, you know, trading in non-US dollars, then the Mandamano started. Now you see it's picking up pace now, especially after he went to France and made the pronouncements that he made, wagging his finger at the World Bank president. Now we start hearing about the Mandamano is picking up again, okay? The Mainanjengas, the non-killers that are being brought back to the fold, okay? Especially, I told you in my previous video, when, what's his name, said that when he sits in the intelligence community, he has evidence that the Kenyatta family are actually funding this Mandamano, okay? Ed and Duella say that, okay? So this is what I'm trying to tell you. Iran most likely wanted to come to Kenya to try to strike a trade deal with Kenya and actually try to get Ruto to join the BRICS. And if Ruto is to do that, then the US will take action and probably take him out by using the Azimio side in a civilian coup. And if they fail, they can actually try to fund one of the military to take Ruto out. But anyway, I just wanted to make that video because I know a lot of people might be wondering, why did Iran cancel the visits? It is because of what's going on. The BRICS are about to launch a currency next month in August, and they're trying to recruit as many countries as possible. And most African countries are actually excited about this idea of having currency backed by gold. Because remember, Africa is rich in gold, such as Uganda, okay? Imagine if Uganda was to start their own currency that's backed by gold. It will kill the dollar. And when if it kills the dollar, it will essentially kill the Western government's economy. That's why Western governments are very, very aggressive to anyone who does not want to do business in dollars. Remember, Gaddafi wanted to sell his, wanted to start a currency, African currency, the Naira, the black dollar as he called it, and they took him out. What's his name? Saddam Hussein said he was going to dump the dollar and sell his oil in euros, and they took him out. So you can see there's a trend. So Ruto should be very careful if he wants to meet the Iranian president. Well, that explains why the Iranian president canceled his trip to Kenya. Anyway, I wanted to keep this video short. That's all I have to say. This is Kenya Revolutionary. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe, share, comment, and tell me what you think. I'll talk to you guys later, and peace.